Rice scored 1-1, 5:54 of the third quarter. Score now. Brother Rice 3. Quickly.
You do it! Get restrained! Going out! Going out! Going out! Back it up, Phil!
Brother Rice score.
Sticks, get the ball! Short sticks, get the ball!
To the hole, White!
The ball! To the hole! Please get the ball! Turn around, David!
Come on here!
Okay, move, come on, get open! Come on, Chuck! No time to get the ball! Who's going? Yeah! Yeah!
Top!
Come on! Get the hole! Chip, get the hole! In the crease!
Match up, White! Go, Mo. You got it, Mo.
Buddy! Oh, yeah!
1 minute, White!
Grab the ball! Two, go! Go! Stay on it! Get back up there! Get back up there! Yeah!
All right, Eric, all right.
Go, Guru!
Who's the backup, Terrell?
Where's my motion? Where's my motion? Cut through! Where's the double? That's it. Carol, 13!
Come on, Jay.
13! 13! Come on, Evan! Go get him!
Man on!
Go! Go! You got pressure on Sudsy!
Come
Come on, Del! Come on, Del! Ball behind you, Del! Check stick! Go, David, you're clear! He's off! To the hole, Dar! To the hole! Sudsy! Yeah! Yes, Sudsy! Yes, Sudsy! All right, son! Yes!
That's it.
Yes! Move the ball around!
Go on, Jason.
Move the ball around!
That's it. Hold up there. Good job, son. Good job.
Jeff, forward! Move the ball!
Good job, Jason. Under control. That's it. Good job, Jason. Sag in now.
Three! Let it go! Stop! Stop! All right.
Yes! Yes! Shot.
Put out! There, you look like a JV. Put out! There, you look like a JV. Put out!
We have to play a zone and pick up the ball.
Yeah, line! To the hole!
Get it. Come on, guys. Get in there. Get him done! Ready! No way! Let him go down there and do that. Come on, guys, show that top there. Let's go, Blue!
I'm gonna go over here and get a cup of coffee.
Just keep working. Keep working it. Keep working it.
you! Wolf, coming in behind you! Not there, bring it back! Bring it back!
Coach called 6-2 and started.
Body! Body!
Goro, goal by Morrison.
not going to lose. We're 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 not going to lose. Go, Rivers, go, Rivers. Go, Rivers, go.
What?
I told you! Hey! Hey, Freddie! What'd I tell you? Hey, Fred! Yeah! What'd I tell you? What'd I tell you? Great, great, great game. Great.
Championship trophy for the Midwest Scholastic Lacrosse Association 1989 tournament, Brother Rice High School, Birmingham, Michigan.
Hey guys, let me go over there and shake their hands, guys.
It's kind of hard to talk. I don't know what to say. It's talking about this team. I don't know if anything I can say can really capture what excuse me, what these guys did. I'm getting all choked up already. And I'm a little afraid of trying to put it into words because I'm afraid I'm going to fail. Like I started the program off, we've got such fine young guys here tonight. And last year, I was couldn't conceive of what further thing I could get out of coaching lacrosse at Brother Rice. I watched a group of kids that I gave sticks to when they were 8 or 9 years old, and watched them become the best lacrosse players in the country. And I thought, what further reward could I get? These guys were like sons to me last year, and their passing was a very emotional thing for me. And I looked at the team come back, and I said, oh, geez, I don't even know who these guys are. A bunch of guys named Chris and, you know, Dave and Dave and Dave and Dave and, you know, Timmy, a lot of these Tims, you know, Tim, who's the Tim guys, you know? And I thought, I just won't get into it. And then my assistant coach retired, and it just would look like it was just overwhelming. It's no fun to coach on this level all by yourself, for one thing. And on the other hand, there's just so much to do. And I knew it was just overwhelming even to look at it. And I didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to do it. I just knew I would be what I would become. And I know how hard I would be on the young men, because I'm very hard on them. And I don't like that particularly. But when you're all there by yourself, it's just too much to do. And David Rivers came in, and I said, well, I can't do it, Dave, I can't do it. And he says, it'll all be worth it in the end. I said, okay. And he was right. It was worth it in the end. And it was a very hellish season in terms of I didn't get to spend time on individuals. I was just too tired. It was just exhausting. We had 4 games a week, and there really wasn't too many games, easy games this year. It was just every game was just, we had to, you know, and it was very, very tiring. And in between games, I just rest. You know, I come to practice, and it was very draining on me. And that brings me to the type of guys we have. Last year, I gave one of my, my pet talks here, and I said that Brother Rice lacrosse teams are very different from other lacrosse teams that you'll see when you watch across the Midwest or across even the country. And the one thing is that, I talked to Coach Kimmel from Michigan State down at the Midwest tournament. I said, well, why are we different from other teams? What makes us different? I don't understand it. And he said, well, we look at these kids and these recruits, all these kids, and he goes, and they look at this kid from so-and-so, and he's lazy. And he looks at, well, look at this kid, he's a really good player, but he's lazy. He says, nobody ever says that about a Brother Rice player. Nobody ever says that. No lazy kids at Brother Rice. They all work hard. And I said this last year, 2 things about Brother Rice teams. They always work hard, they come ready to play every game, they always work hard, and they never give up. And to me, that's all athletic citizens. Working very hard and never giving up. And that was my everything. I don't have anything else to say. Or Dave Rivers couldn't think else to say in his motivational talks at the end of the practice. And he'd say, let's work hard and never give up. And it works. We always work hard. Sometimes we work harder than others, but we always work hard and we never give up. And I didn't mean to talk this much about it, but God darn, these guys did a heck of a job. And, you know, when I think I've learned it all, I come to a group like this, and I learn a lot from them. And I always learn more than I give them. And I don't know where we get these guys from. And we get to a championship game where we're one effort away from completing what to me was a dream. And these guys pulled it out. We talked before the final game. I tried to come up with a reason why these guys should win the last game of the season. It was a lousy talk. I couldn't come up with any reasons why we should win it. But every other Rice team wins a championship. We've never lost a championship game. Okay, so what? We've already won a championship. We've already won a championship game. So what? What do we do now? Why do we have to win this game? I don't know. I couldn't come up with a reason why we had to win this game. Except, I don't know where, I've never seen a team win a championship game like we won down in Hudson, Ohio, and then come back and have to give that exact type of effort a week later. Kids can't do that. I couldn't do that. I don't know where we get these guys from. And we were not ready to play on that Saturday in DCD. We didn't have the skills there. They made us look pretty silly. Made me look silly. I was out-coached. We were out-hustled. And when it came down to it, these guys just refused to lose the game. And maybe it's more than that. I don't know. I guess I'm a deep thinker, and I like things like this just amaze me. I don't know where kids... I thought when Mike Ferguson, who couldn't walk all the week before the state championships last year, got out and played two games back-to-back and, you know, dominated the game. I don't know how kids can do that. And I see Adam Brochert. And when I get all choked up when I think of Popson giving this little talk here, and every time I hear Adam Brochert's name, I want to stand up and cheer. Because he's Adam Brochert. And a year ago, this kid stood on the bench and watched these great players run around. And now he's the great player. And somebody told me, who knew Adam had all this inside him? I didn't know. I didn't even tell him to go to the 205 camp. I thought, you know, he's just a mediocre kid. And now, to my mind, a guy like this, where does he come from? I don't know, but it amazes me. And that's what keeps me involved in this. Because seeing this is the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. And so I'd like to honor these young men as best as I can. I'm going to have a hard time talking about all these guys because I've said probably more than enough. We have a bunch of players here. I want to say just a brief thing about them. They come up and get their award. I have a number of guys here that have all states and all Midwest and all kinds of stuff. And also, as the JV guy, we have every year we win something, and I like to give them a T-shirt so that when I see them on the street, I'll know which team they were on. And that's my T-shirt, and so is the dream, because David Morrow come back on the bus from DCD's, staring with a glazed Morrowian look. And I go, Dave, are you all right? He goes, yeah, it just seems like a dream. And he was right. It was a dream. And so each one of my guys will be doing this. There's a guy on here taking a jump shot. I don't know where I got that idea from. And does what no other team has done before in these two tournaments. We were 21-0 in the Midwest. We were 21-1 overall because we got slaughtered by a real good team in Syracuse. I like to keep that on record most of the time, just to remind us that we're still not good enough. But this looks pretty good, 21-0. So each one of these guys, if we get one of these.
Austin said something I really liked, how he said heat up cold dinners when we got home from practices and games. And I think that's really true because the parents really do a lot for this team, you know, since they've started getting involved. You know, they drove us out to Syracuse, and it was really a long drive. They stayed out in the rain, and they cheered for us, even though we were getting beat about 10-2, 10-3, and we really need that kind of support. And the three of us, since we get to talk, we'd like to especially thank our own parents for helping organize and get everything done for us. Clap for them. Now we'd like to thank Coach Hebert for everything he's done. I wasn't really into team sports that much before I came to Rice. I like sports, but I just wasn't into the practice and all the hard work it took. And you know, sophomore year I played lacrosse, and I heard the horror stories of, you know, having Coach Hebert, because I was good friends with Dave, and I hear, you know, you got to run and you got to do all this work, and you know, I didn't really know if I was really ready for it. And, you know, I struggled through junior year. You know, I didn't get to play a whole lot. But Coach Hebert's just really an inspiring man. You know, this year, you know, the seniors on offense, we really had some big shoes to fill. And Coach Hebert just really inspires you to do, you know, like he would say, you know, you got to work on your right hand. And just, that's all it would take, that simple command, and you would stay after practice and work on it because you wanted to do well, not only for yourself but for him, because you realized the dedication he had, and he just spends all his time and effort with us. You know, he's always thinking of offenses. He'd come into practice, you know, and I know how he likes to do imitations, so I thought I'd do a little one. You know, I was thinking about, what if we ran the special, and we had the top guy cut over here, the other guy cut here, and this guy cut around the back of the net, and then we have the tack, roll around Morrison, pass to the crease, and then Sudsy will score. And he just taught me the whole offensive theory. I mean, I feel like I could coach a team just from beginning of the year. He would, you know, what do you think? Oh yeah, sure, coach. And then, you know, because I didn't know what he was talking about, and then as the year progressed, he really taught you the whole game. And I really feel like I can be a success in college because of all the things he's taught me. I really like to thank him for everything. Thanks a lot, Coach. You're a great guy.
Before I take the time to thank Coach, I'd just like everyone to know that the Brother Ice Lacrosse hats are in. And Mr. Dunlauer, I do have the 8 that you ordered.
Won't break your legs.
The hats are for sale for $12 if any of you guys want to buy them. What I like to say is that about 2 weeks before the season started, Coach already mentioned something about this, but 2 weeks before the season started, I was on my way home from school, and I stopped by St. Hugo where Coach teaches, and I went in to talk to him, and he said to me, I found out some bad news today that Coach Shula is not going to be back this year. Coach Shula was our assistant coach last year, and he said, Mr. Hebert said, he looked me in the eye and he said, Dave, I can't do it. And I said, well, what do you mean you can't do it? And he said, I can't coach the team by myself this year without Coach Shula. And I said, What do you mean you can't coach the team? If you don't coach the team, there won't be a program. And he said, I can't do it by myself. I said, you don't understand, though. One of the main reasons why I'm still at Brother Rice is to play lacrosse for you. And he said, I can't do it. I need someone to help me out, and I can't find that person. And I said to him, Coach, I promise you that if you stay with us this year, it'll be a season that you'll never forget. And I'd like to thank Coach for coming out and helping us out, because without him, we wouldn't be the dream team, and that dream wouldn't be possible. I'd just like to thank Coach very much for that.
Okay, I'd also like to thank all the parents for all the support and work you've put forth this season. The team really appreciates it. And I'd also like to thank my parents for supporting me and being there for me throughout the season, and it was really important to me. And most important of all to this team, I think, would be Coach Hebert. I mean, when I was in 5th grade at St. Hugo's, I heard this announcement on the PA that said, all you kids interested in playing lacrosse, go to the science room and buy a stick. And I had no idea what lacrosse was, but I wanted to do it. So I go up there and I say, can I buy a stick? And he says, oh, sure. And so I started playing. Then after 6th grade, he goes, I think you'd make a good defenseman. And I go, oh, really? So I started out playing defense, and I got to the point where I am now, and basically lacrosse has changed my entire future, because without it, there's no possible way that I'd be able to attend Princeton University, and I owe it all to Coach Hebert. I mean, it's so important to me, because, I really never realized how lucky I was to play for Brother Rice until you go to lacrosse camp over the summer, and every single coach, just from the color of your helmet, knows you're from Brother Rice. They don't look around and say, oh, this kid's from this school. They say, you're from Brother Rice. And I was sitting there, and this coach comes up to me and goes, yeah, you play for Brother Rice. Boy, are you lucky. And then this kid comes up to me, and he goes, yeah, I hear all this talk about Brother Rice. He goes, what's it like playing for Brother Rice? And I was like, well, have you ever won a lacrosse game? And the guy goes, well, yeah. And I go, well, just picture doing it all the time. And he goes, then he tells me, yeah, that must be pretty great. And I just said, it really is. And I just can't, really express in words how I feel towards Coach Hebert for all the work. And I mean, the passion and the zeal he has for the game is incredible. I mean, at the beginning of the year, he's so intense, and these guys are going, God, Coach hates me. I want to quit. I'm quitting. Coach hates me. But, now at the end of the season, they turned into, confident lacrosse players, and he's just really done an excellent job. And, I mean, he accomplished a goal that no other coach has ever accomplished. I mean, he went undefeated. Incredible. I'd like to thank him. Come on up, Coach. And thank you all, and look forward to seeing you next year. And good luck to you guys, because I'd like to tell you, JV guys, you're part of a dynasty. You're part of the greatest lacrosse program ever known to man. Enjoy it.